Introducing Cognitive Healthcare Networks by
Malay Kumar Mandal, EC third year, Techno India, Salt Lake.
Mayank Jain, CSE third year, Techno India Salt Lake.
Gaurav Jain, CSE third year, Techno India Salt Lake. Uttam Ghose, EC second year, Techno India Salt Lake.
Now our topic is Cognitive Healthcare Network, which falls under the category of connected machines in IoT. Health and wellness is one of the most promising field in IoT. But in today's scenario, making use of the available healthcare resource has become exhausting, obsolete and hectic, especially because of less number of healthcare personnel or low level automation in the field of healthcare system. So in order to make the process of prevention, remedies and treatment a bit more systematical, we need to start thinking of automating medical facilities, and apart from that, we need to manage vast medical record and analyze it to foretell the trend in disease. Next is objective of our project. First objective is to create a system of interconnected system of medical equipments and apparatus which can be monitored globally or remotely. Now, suppose if a person is suffering from some chronic disease like heart disease or diabetes, these are long-term disease and need to be monitored frequently. Now, instead of visiting hospital or clinic on a regular basis, what a patient can do, a patient can do the necessary tests in the home itself, and the corresponding data will be feed to doctor, and doctor can monitor the condition of the patient and advise accordingly. The next is managing warehouse of data containing the details of the patient. This is basically digitalization, in which the details of the patient and the past record of the patient is recorded in cloud. And the third objective is optimizing medical resource and predicting a trend in disease. Now the data that we store in cloud, this data is potentially very useful for us, as by feeding this data to machine learning algorithm, we can predict the extent of the disease by using big data techniques. Now the problem statement. The problem with our existing healthcare system can be divided into two broad categories. The first is organizational failure and the second is data management. Now organizational failure can be due to poor staff maintenance or inefficient resource utilization or time consuming procedures. And the next is data management, loss of diagnostic data and manual data entry. Now intra-hospital network. According to Indian Nursing Council or INC, the nurse to patient ratio should be 1:3 to 1:5. But in India, the scenario is 1:20 to 1:30, which means 30 patients are under the care of one single nurse. Now, this high ratio results in hectic schedule of the nurse, reduced efficiency of their working, and the third and the most obvious vulnerable to mistakes. Suppose 30 patients are under one single nurse, and the nurse has to remember the timing of medicine, the timing of diet, the timing of to change saline or to change blood bags of each patient, which is practically not possible. So in order to so for this problem, the proposed solution of our product is, first is patient tagging. Now before admitting any patient to hospital, what we have to do in present healthcare system is we have to write an application form which is then fed to a database. Now instead of this, we can use RFID tag. RFID is radio frequency identification system, in which each patient is given a unique ID and a small demonstration as to how we can implement RFID in practical use.
This is the simple RFID receiver, and this is the two tag of RFID. Now this is the primary key for every patient. Like this is the patient Amit and this is the patient Rahul. When they swipe their card for any updates, then it so that its attendance is updated. Now Rahul, in this way they can we do all the tagging operation.
Now the next solution is effective nursing. Now in effective nursing, what we can do, we can create one app. Now a nurse has to keep logged into this app during her working hour, and the main feature of this app will be is the priority. Suppose there might be a case that the upcoming notification will be most immediate and need a immediate supervision. So in this app we can segregate segregate those notification using priority feature. We can see how this app effective nursing will work in hospital system. Now see, whenever any patient visit to a doctor, the doctor prescribes him about the timing of the medicine or the timing of the diet. Now this timing along with the patient ID is fed to this database. Now there is one head nurse. The job of this head nurse is to make sure that the database send notification to the concerned health personnel to attend that patient. Now when the notification is received by the concerned healthcare person, he or she visit to the patient and using RFID tag update the database that a person gets served. And in case if the healthcare personnel is busy in some other job or busy in attending some other patient, now there is a condition of work done, decision condition as work done, yes or no. If the work is done, then the database get updated, and if it is not done, the head nurse will understand that the healthcare personnel is busy in attending some other patient, so she immediately assign that particular job to another healthcare personnel which attend the concerned patient.
Coming to EMR, electronic medical report. EMR is the digitalization of traditional paperwork techniques prevalent in the modern infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure. It is broadly divided into two categories, first being the real-time ventilator monitoring. Here, in the hospital, there are different medical equipments. Some of the equipments show real-time data of a person's vitals. For example, if we see the ECG graph, it shows the real-time heartbeats of a person. Now, it is so possible that this data can be uploaded on a cloud so that it can be accessed from anywhere across the globe by secure personnel. It hence reduces time, increases flexibility of the data. Any rapid change or any erratic change of the graph can be seen by the doctor anywhere, be whether he is in his clinic or hospital, and he can act very fast accordingly. The next concept of EMR is digitalization of medical reports. In the hospital or for a particular individual, we see there are different reports, be it surgical reports or the lab prescriptions or the prescriptions that doctor gives. Now this data is susceptible to damage. By any damage, fire or water, it has to be digitalized to be stored in the cloud or a computer. Now this data is stored into a cloud where these data are equipped together to form a front-end design of a web page. On this web page, we see that there are various vitals and various previous prescriptions. It forms a medical history of the person in a very digitalized and systematic manner, which can be used to predict any change or any disease, any change from the regular form. Now, this change can be used to predict any disease. This lot of data, it forms the basis of a machine learning algorithm, which would see in the next slide. The main points of the digitalization of medical records are that it stores the data in a common schema and allows only secure access to the data.
Today, the conventional approach for the treatment of any patient is completely dependent on the medical test of the patients. But there are some new techniques like machine learning algorithm and big data analysis, which have a potential to have a great impact on our medical fields. The main objective to use the machine learning algorithm to predict and to perform the prediction, classification and estimation of any diseases. Now you can see that our data are stored in the cloud. Now we feed all the data, we can say a training set, in our learning algorithm. The job of the learning algorithm is to provide a function, we can say a model, which called a hypothesis, in which if we give a input, its simply work is to provide a output, estimated output of it. Now we can by taking a example, we can understand it better. Let us patients have a tumor, having a tumor disease. Now it is a graph of a patient's vertical axis age and a tumor size. There are the two types of tumor. One is benign and other is the malignant. Benign is a non-cancerized tumor and malignant is a cancerized tumor. Here the circle denote the benign and cross mark denote the malignant tumor. Now if any person's data fall in this region, then there is a less probability of a cancerized tumor. Now in the same way we get different graphs with a different parameter, like this is the same graph with a parameter uniformity of cell size, and this is another graph of column thickness. Now we get a different graph from a different parameter. Now these all data we put in our learning algorithm. Now it provide a function or a hypothesis which which is a function of g theta 0 x 0 means tumor size, theta 1 x1 means column thickness, and theta 2 x2 which is of uncertainty of the cell shape. Then the hypothesis will provide a finally provide a boundary condition. This is the graph of the boundary condition, which gives the prediction of the patient having a tumor or not. If y is equal to 0, then the tumor is benign, means it is not a cancerized tumor. If y is equal to 1, then tumor is malignant. Now this is our boundary condition graph we can obtain from the hypothesis model. You can see that there is two regions and there is a straight line. The part present upper side of the straight line, that boundary is called the is a malignant, means if any patient's data are fall on that region, upper side of that region, then they have a more likely to have a tumor has a cancer tumor. If any patient's data are fall in that region, then they have a less probability of a tumor of cancerized tumor. In this way, our supervised machine learning algorithm can able to predict a disease. Now we are moved to our another unsupervised machine learning algorithm. In this algorithm, our system can make a cluster by taking a data from a different topological region. This is the example of a spread of a Zika virus from the different part of the world. By seeing the graph, we can analyze that which part of the world is most affected by the Zika virus. By analyzing this graph, we can able to take the precautions of it. Now going towards the another example of unsupervised machine learning algorithm, we can able to find the trait of a disease. Like this is the example of cholera disease, last year cholera disease traits. Like it is mostly affected in the month of August, and the temperature is 25 degrees centigrade. If this trait is again repeated in the next year, we can get enough time to do the precautions step for that disease.
Now let us see how the different medical equipments are connected to form the IoT framework. We have different sensors like the heartbeat sensor, pulse rate sensor, or the cardiogram sensor, which records vitals from a person. Now the different readings from the sensor can be analog, digital, or even in form of high resolution images. Here we have a demonstration of the pulse rate sensor, which records pulse of a person and plots the graph accordingly.
This is a simple voltage divider circuit to measure the heart rate of a patient. Here it contains a two LED, one LED to transmit a light and one LED receiver to receive the light. According to the intensity of light, the distance of this LED change. So we apply a 5 volt power supply in between them. So when we place my hand in between them, finger in between them, then due to the flow of blood in the finger, the intensity of light falls on that receiver will change. So it gives a analog output 0 to 24 24 bits. So that analog output is received by Atmega 328 microcontroller, and by receiving that microcontroller is sent to our computer through serially. Now you can see the practical demonstration of the project. When I put my finger in the sensor, you can see due to the change of the blood density in my finger, there is a variation occur in the analog, which is in between the 0 to 1024. Here you can see that the variation by measuring the crease per minute. We can easily calculate the heart rate occurring per minute.
Likewise, we have different sensors which are connected to the Raspberry Pi module. The Pi module, on the other hand, is connected to the local area network. Then the sensor observations are uploaded on the local area network, which facilitates local monitoring of the readings by the local healthcare personnel. The sensor observations together, they form a pool of data into a data set. The data set not only includes the reading of these sensors, it also includes diagnosis reports like the pathology lab reports, be it blood pressure reports or blood reports, and all the medical reports. It together forms the data set. Now this data set, it is local to a particular hospital, and it is stored in a local schema. It may be possible that there are several hospitals and each hospital is connected to its own Raspberry Pi module. The work of the Raspberry Pi is not only to upload the data from a local hospital to a cloud-based server, it also transforms the local schema in which the data set is stored into a standard schema which the cloud-based server can understand. Now, on the cloud-based server, several cloud-connected libraries act on the standard form of the data, which permits real-time monitoring of the data. Plus, it is here that the machine learning algorithm takes place on the big data to facilitate disease prediction. The potential of the system is not that it only stores the local data set. In today's world, we have different health-equipped gadgets from person to person. These gadgets record individual records of the person vitals. Now, it constitutes in forming the electronic health report of an individual. Any deviation from the normal trend of the individual can be predicted and detected to see if there is a disease or illness of a person. The main constituent of our project is the Raspberry Pi module. It is a small credit card size computer of RAM of 1 GB. It has got Ethernet port which can be used to connect to the internet and provide data connectivity over the cloud. It has got 40 general purpose input-output pins where we can connect our sensors, which can use to transfer the sensor observations to the internet. It has also got 4 USB ports to which we can connect the RF receivers or the camera modules, or we can even connect a SIM card shield. This SIM card shield can be used to generate alerts or notification to the cognitive healthcare network app that we have created for the nurses. It has also got Wi-Fi receiver and transmitter which offers seamless and wireless connectivity to the data. The main feature of the Raspberry Pi module is that it is cost efficient and power efficient. It uses only 5 volts of data and can be online for any number of time.
If we highlight the total component used of our product in only one unit, we will see that we will use a Raspberry Pi OTA 2700. A hospital can use various types of sensors, but here we use body temperature sensor, heartbeat sensor, electrocardiogram sensor, body position accelerometer, which has a total price of approx 900. We also use RFID tag and receiver and a Bluetooth module to connect the patient's profile with the nurse mobile app. So the total price of our product is around 4,765, which is easily negligible compared to the other component for the hospital. Let us move to the maturity level. The maturity level is divided into 3 categories: high, medium and low. The technologies that are used in various applications and also well established are used in lies in the high level, and the technologies which has limited area of application are lies in the medium section, and the technologies which are very new in the society are lies in the low level. Our product our product is Our product works in the intra-hospital network, so it is belongs of the medium level, and the disease prediction with using the machine learning algorithm and big data analysis makes our product very unique and totally new. So it also lies in the low level. So let's move the Maslow hierarchy of needs. The Maslow hierarchy of needs is the theory of motivation, which is very beneficial and essential for to prepare a man's life. It was created by Abraham Maslow, and he believed that these 5 needs are very essential to create a man's behavior. So these 5 needs are physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem and auto and self-actualization. So our product lies in the safety level of this pyramid. It tells us about keeping us away from any harmful disease or any natural disaster or in war. It also secures us about the health and well-being of human life. It also it secures the survival of a man.
Coming to the benefits that we have from our healthcare network, there has been a lot of buzz about real-time monitoring. Let us see a scenario when we don't have the real-time monitoring. Suppose the ECG monitor is fitted on a patient's particular room, and now the doctor has to frequently come and check whether the ECG graph is normal or not. It obviously would increase the workload on the doctor. And if we have the real-time monitoring, the doctor can sit in his room and can check easily whether the graphs are normal or not. And if he sees an anomaly, he can act accordingly very fast. Now the next point is patient's reliability. It means that the patient has a comprehensive knowledge of all his medical history. Suppose he wants to go through his medical logs. Instead of going through all the paper logs that he has from different doctors, he just has to log in onto a particular web page, and he'll see all his data in a very systematic manner. All the vitals stored accordingly in a real time on a timeline basis. Next being the disease prediction. Now, if we don't have the machine learning algorithms act on the data that we are saved on the cloud. Now, if we don't have machine learning algorithms to act on the data, all the electronic medical reports that we have uploaded on the cloud, it would be of no use. It would be just for the storage sake. It is the machine learning algorithm that realizes the potential of these data records, and then it can be used to predict whether a disease will happen or not, or to what extent a disease will happen. Combined with all these three, we have an improved care of a person. He would be very satisfied getting his records in a very systematic manner, or seeing whether there are any anomaly in his records, in his readings. Combining all the things that we have seen, we can say that the cognitive healthcare network that we have formed, it is very cost efficient. As we have seen, it offers power efficient. It is power efficient and can be applied to particular hospitals on a very broad scale. Thank you, and this is the references slide that we have seen. Thank you.